The old Ford Bronco rumbled to a stop in a hidden Appalachian clearing. Inside, 5 friends, Mark, Emily, Stephen, Sarah, and Daniel, unloaded their gear, eager to escape the city. Mark wore a faded college hoodie and cargo shorts, while Emily opted for yoga pants and a Patagonia fleece. Stephen, the reserved one, kept his dark denim jacket. Sarah, with her influencer style, wore brand-name hiking boots and a bright orange beanie. Daniel, the most relaxed, had on an old band t-shirt and ripped jeans. They quickly set up camp, the air thick with pine scent. The first night was quiet, but Stephen was disturbed twice by an urge to go outside. Both times, as he found relief in the darkness, he heard it. A strange, uneven rustling sound. Not like an animal, but something slow, heavy, and indistinct, moving just beyond the light. A dull, sticky anxiety clung to him, preventing sleep. He remembered the old folklore his grandmother used to whisper, tales of mountain stalkers and things that only moved when the moon was high. The next day, despite the bright sun, a shared tension gripped the group. The pervasive feeling that someone was watching them never lifted. Every snapping twig, every fleeting shadow made them look back at the dense, silent tree line. They tried to shake the feeling off, joking about local, hillbilly horrors and checking their phones desperately, though signal was non-existent. No one spoke of it, but everyone felt the presence of something utterly foreign. The second night brought true dread. The campfire offered no comfort, its light only emphasizing the deep, sinister shadows. They noticed the local wildlife, the owls, the crickets, were completely silent, replaced by an unnatural stillness that pressed down on the clearing. Around midnight, Stephen heard the rustling again. Louder, closer, right outside their tent, accompanied by a faint putrid smell and a low guttural moan. "I'm going to look," Stephen whispered, grabbing his flashlight, ignoring Sarah's panicked pleas. A strange, irresistible pull drew him into the darkness. His last coherent thought was that the smell was like rancid meat and wet copper. He moved cautiously, his light cutting shallowly through the black wall of the woods. The sound stopped, but the putrid scent intensified. Suddenly, a horrific, inhuman shriek erupted from the surrounding blackness. Stephen didn't even manage a cry. Something massive, invisible, crashed down on him. He felt agonizing pain, a sickening crunch of bone, and his body was torn in half, his final scream abruptly silenced. Inside the tent, Sarah screamed. The others froze, their faces white. They heard heavy, rhythmic steps approaching, followed by the sickening sound of snapping wood and a wet, dreadful choking noise. The tent floor began to shake subtly with each impact. "Hide!" Mark screamed, but it was useless. The tent zipper was ripped open with a terrible sound. A huge, indistinct shadow eclipsed the night sky. The air instantly grew cold, and the smell of rot and ozone filled the confined space. The last thing Sarah saw was a reflection in eyes that were not human. Then the screams began, quickly turning into short, horrific sounds that were swallowed by the profound silence of the forest. The final sound was a wet, decisive crunch, followed by a heavy silence that lasted until dawn. 3 days later, a rescue team found the abandoned Ford Bronco in the clearing. They found the ripped tent. Inside, everything was overturned, yet almost no blood was present, only a few dark stains near the entrance. A search perimeter was established, focused mainly on the steep, dense ravines. The rescuers found unsettling tracks, deep indentations in the earth that belonged to no known beast, and horrifying scratches on the bark, too high for a bear. The local sheriff, a man named Brody who had spent 40 years in the mountains, refused to call the tracks an animal, merely referring to them as the disturbance. They searched for bodies but found nothing. No trace of the 5 young people, just the empty, torn camp in the chilling silence. The investigators were baffled. They hypothesized a bizarre animal attack, but the sheer scale of the destruction and the total absence of remains defied logic. The woods kept their secrets. The official report would later cite wild animal aggression and possible flash flooding, a lie everyone involved knew was necessary to maintain order. Later, an old local hunter whispered to a young officer, "Some things are best left alone. Some stories are best left untold." especially when it comes to these mountains. They were here long before us, and some things in them never sleep. We call it the hush. And when it comes, you don't fight it, you just pray it goes elsewhere.